Hi designers, in this video you will use the shape tool and your knowledge of the principles of design to create the feeling of conflict. Let's check out some examples. That's 3 separate designs with 2 shapes in each design. Before you begin this project, you should have completed some planning sketches showing this conflict between the shapes. So let's start off our design now that we have our planning sketch done by creating a new file in Photoshop. You'll want to go to File, New. The width of your file should be 16 inches. It's going to be square, so the height is also 16 inches. The resolution will be 200 pixels per inch. The color mode is CMYK, and you'll want to save this file with your last name, first name, 3.1, Dueling Shapes practice. Next, go ahead and locate the shape tool. We are going to be using the custom shape tool today. I got to it by pressing Control-click underneath the rectangle tool, and you'll see that on your options bar you have a variety of shapes that you can use. Got to these shapes by pressing the inverted arrow next to shape on the options bar. If you only see a few of these shapes, go ahead and click on this gear and you will want to select all. It says replace current shapes with the shapes from all, and I am going to click append. This adds all of the shapes in Photoshop to my custom shape tool. You want to select the shape types that you would like to use for this project. So today for this project, I am going to be working with the leaf and the snowflake. I'm using asymmetrical balance in this design. That means that there is a sense of stability, but if I were to slice the design in half, it is not the same on both designs. To use the shape tool, you can hold down Shift to keep the shape proportional. Now, whatever color you have selected for the foreground, that is what your shape is going to be. You can easily change the color of your shape tool when you are on the custom shape icon and you go to the options bar. The color of the body of the shape will be what is in the fill. So you have the options to have no color by selecting the rectangle with the red slash through it, a solid color, a gradient, or a pattern. I'm going to stick with a solid color for my shape, and for my example, I am working with a complementary color scheme. The color scheme that I am using is red-orange going to a green-blue. So remember that a complementary color scheme can use primary and secondary colors, or it can also use a set of tertiary colors to be a bit more complex. So again, I am using red-orange and a green-blue that is directly across from each other on the color wheel. Okay, so I'm happy with this color for my shape. To change the size of my shape, I can use the Move tool or Command T for the shortcut. I can rotate the shape, change the size of the shape, or even reverse the direction of the shape. A lot of different options. Remember that on each layer in your layers panel, you have the option to change the opacity. And so this works for your shapes too, right? If I want to lighten it and have the background color show through, I can do that here. To make copies of my shape, I can press Option on my keyboard, click on the shape. It's going to make an exact copy of it. Because you will be using at least 15 copies of shapes total in this design, that might be a good tool to kind of speed up the shape creation. And again, if I want to change the color of the shape, I will apply the transformation of moving the leaf. Then I'm going to click on the fill. You can see that my recently used colors are here on the top row. I want to change this red just slightly, so I'm going to work in the color picker box to get a new version of that kind of red hue. Remember, if I go down and towards the left, I'm going to get a duller version moving towards brown, and if I go up towards the right, I'm going to get the most saturated version of that hue. I can work with the layering of the shapes in the layers panel by moving the shapes below one another. Now I'm going to start working with the snowflake. And the color that I would like to use for the snowflake is kind of this teal blue. And you can see I just changed the color of my leaf there. So I'm going to go ahead and draw my snowflake. And now I will change it to that teal blue color. So you can work with shapes that are kind of have some clear relation like these do in terms of fall and the snowflake representing winter. But it might be really fun in your design to work with shapes that don't have as clear of a relation. Now, something that's kind of cool with the shapes is that you can link the layers of your shapes. So you can see here on these small snowflakes, I have linked the layers. You do that by holding down Control and then linking the layers. So if I unlink the layers, they'll be unlinked, but I want to link that back with the other ones. So when the layers are linked, again, I'm going to link this with the other small snowflakes. You can easily change the color of all of those snowflakes at once. So if I go to the custom shape and I change the fill color, now all of the snowflakes will change to that green. Or you can see it if I change it here to that sort of hot pink, it's really obvious there. So that's useful if you have a lot of similar shapes and you want to change the color at once. The background is going to be really important in this design. It's going to affect the contrast of all of your shapes. So in mine, I have created a gradient moving from this dark brown towards a lighter color. I'm seeing the tan background show through there. This gradient kind of moves this conflict between the shapes of the fall shapes moving towards the snowflakes. It would totally change if I filled my background with, say, light blue. Right, that's going to give it a lot different of a feeling than with a darker color. So I decided that for my image, a darker background or a darker background with a gradient was really the look that I was going for. You're going to want to consider all of the principles of design and the placement of your objects as you work through each of these designs. Great luck with your designs. I'm excited to see what you come up with.